Hey there friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today I've got a Solar Warlock build that I've been very much enjoying in Destiny 2 Season of the Wish, using it across a bunch of different activities like the Coil, Star-Crossed Exotic Mission, and Warlord's Ruined Dungeon. This build is great not only as a support build to help out your teammates, but also a solo build as well. It does a bit of everything, kind of a jack of all trades, which is why I very much enjoy it. It all starts with the Apotheosis Veil Exotic Helmet, which has the armor perk Insatiable. Immediately regenerate health, melee, grenade, and rift energy for you and your nearby allies upon activating your super. That's already nice, especially when you regenerate it for your allies, and if they are running a grenade build as well, it just makes it that much better. After your super ends, temporarily gain increased melee and grenade regen as well, greatly increased, which is very nice. You're going to see when I pop a Well of Radiance, I'm going to essentially just be spamming my abilities for a brief period of time, which is very, very nice. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. With this build specifically, I am running Prometheus Lens this season with Incandescent on it, as well as the seasonal artifact perks. It just causes a ton of explosions, and I really enjoy this trace rifle. I think a lot of people sleep on it because there's a lot of really good options this season, but this is one I highly recommend trying it out. I'm also running Cry Mutiny now, and some of the gameplay you're going to see me running a rocket. It really depends on the type of content that you're taking on, but having a heavy weapon with Demolitionist really works out well with this build because you're going to be able to use your grenade pretty frequently. What you want to do when you pop your super is use your abilities really quickly, but save your last grenade for the reload for your heavy weapon. And that's something that I think takes a bit of time to learn the timing of it, but it will very much be helpful when you are using this build because essentially you can spam your heavy weapon, use your grenade, and then continue spamming your heavy weapon as well. And having 12 shots of something like Cry Mutiny is very, very nice. Now, as far as the artifact perks that are really important, this one, Raise of Precision, is nice. If you're running a rocket, then obviously Argent Ordnance is huge, but otherwise the key ones are Kindling Trigger, Flint Striker, and then also Heart of the Flame. This is going to make you and your nearby allies radiant. It also increases the damage of your super for each nearby ally, but obviously you're not doing damage with your super. It's just essentially there to make your allies radiant as you're doing damage, which is nice. The other weapon I am running is Tiger Spite. This one has Overflow and Kinetic Tremors. It's not the best roll, but I do very much enjoy it when I use it. However, in a lot of the activities, you're going to see me essentially only using Prometheus Lens because of how much ammo it does have. As far as the subclass goes, I am running Healing Rift. This is my only major source of healing outside of Restoration, so it is very important to have this on, in my opinion. Then I've got Incinerator Snap, and then Solar Grenades. I can swap this for Fusion Grenade. I just think the Solar Grenade is better when you are spamming it a little bit. It just is going to do more damage, but again, you can adjust this whichever one you want. The nice thing about a Fusion Grenade is that the base cooldown is so much lower that you would be getting it back a lot faster outside of when you pop your super. My aspects are Icarus Dash and then Touch of Flame. This is a main reason why I do like the Solar Grenade, because it increases the linger duration, periodically emitting blobs of lava around the perimeter. So essentially it creates a big AoE target for enemies to walk through. As far as the fragments, Ember of Mercy, this is especially important because you generate a lot of fire sprites to grant restoration consistently. Ember of Searing, this is going to create the fire sprites pretty much all the time. Ember of Singeing, this is going to make sure that you have your class ability back very, very quickly. And then finally, Ember of Ashes to apply more scorch targets. As far as my mods go, Solar Siphon, Heavy Ammo Finder, Radiant Light, Firepower, Impact Induction, Solar Loader, Concussive Dampener, Solar Damage Resistance. You can use whatever damage resistance coincides with the activity that you're running, whatever threat it is. Also Solar Reserves, and then finally, better already, Solar Scavenger, Solar Weapon Surge. The Surge doesn't matter as much just because you're going to be using it, your armor charge all the time because of having the Prometheus Lens on. And then finally, we've got Powerful Attraction, Time Dilation, and Outreach. The gameplay loop of this is fairly simple overall. Essentially, you're going to be heading into combat, using your Prometheus lens to scorch and burn. Use your melee as well to scorch as many targets as possible and spread that scorch to a lot of different enemies. You're going to be radiant, leading to increased damage from your Prometheus lens as well. And essentially you can just spray down all the ads that are in the area. It is excellent for ad control. I know there's other good options for this as well, but it is nice to just essentially hold down the trigger and destroy everything in your path. It is very, very fun to use in my personal opinion. It also, with the trait Flame Refraction on Prometheus lens, kills with this weapon to return a fraction of the ammo used in the magazine from reserves. So there are times where I felt like I needed to reload, but I didn't have to because I'm essentially have subsistence and I'm regenerating that ammo very, very consistently as I am leveling out all of the different ads that are nearby. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't over reload. That's a problem that I often have when I'm running something like that, and so that's just a little bit of point of emphasis. As far as the heavy weapon, you're going to save this for obviously the mini bosses and bosses, and again, use your demolitionist wisely. You can run, like I said, a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher, whatever you want to use with this build, but I would highly recommend Demolitionist just because of how often you're able to get back your grenade and able to use that in order to reload your ammo. Demolitionist on a heavy weapon doesn't always work in every situation, so you might not have a God Roll build that works out with that. But for me personally, I do like when I have that type of option because I do think there are builds that benefit from Demolitionist instead of other options in that first slot. So again, that's just what I believe is going to be best for this build specifically. Now, outside of having your super, you're not going to be generating your abilities back super fast as consistently as you might with something like the Sunbracers or another exotic like that. However, I feel like because of the ability spam, because of the ability to use your solar grenades in such a way that you just kind of decimate the battlefield, that's why I really like running this build. Don't forget also that with the artifact perk, the Revitalizing Blast, you're also going to be weakening enemies with your solar abilities. So that is something that if you're not running a Void subclass, if you're not running something to debuff the boss or anything like that, you can do so with this build as well. That's why I think it's such a great support build on top of increasing the regeneration of your abilities for your allies. So overall, this is one that I highly recommend checking out. Definitely see if it's fun for you as it is for me. I absolutely love Prometheus Lens, so I always try to sneak it into some of my builds if at all possible. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. My name is Jopa. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously, shows you want to see more Destiny 2 content from me going forward. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.